you so much for being here, Alec. I got to tell you something. You are such a good-looking man, and you have tremendous hair. You may have the best hair in show business today, by God.
Well,
and people tell me that you've obviously you've done something. You've lost some weight. I don't want to embarrass you.
I found out I was allergic to sugar, and I was.
Now, what does that mean, allergic? When you say allergic, what does that mean?
It means I can't have sugar.
Yeah, can't have sugar.
I went to the doctor and I said to him, I exercised and I didn't think I ate, that badly, but like I kept gaining weight. And I went to the doctor and he said, you are pre-diabetic. He said, you have like a bad sugar numbers, and I gave up sugar. He told me that on a Monday, May 9th, I remember the day, and on the next day, May 10th, I gave up eating sugar, sweets, and candy, and
well, it's impossible.
It's very hard.
Now, was there a noticeable withdrawal from the lack of sugar that you stopped eating?
Well, yeah, giving up sugar is weird because it's in everything, and I gave up eating pasta. I went to Rome to do Woody Allen's movie this summer, and I think I had a half order of pasta the whole 2.5 weeks I was there. And the people over there, they're like, they say, here is the menu and the pasta plate, the second dish, and I'm like, no pasta for me, and they're like, you're joking, right? And you don't eat pasta. And
so if you cut out sugar, you can't have pasta.
Well, it converts to sugar. Yeah, those carbs convert to sugar.
And what else converts to sugar? Almost everything, doesn't it?
Rice and potatoes.
What about like an occasional wine? Can you have wine?
I don't drink. I don't drink wine either. Yeah, I don't drink alcohol. Yeah.
I couldn't live like this.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a very.
I couldn't. I mean,
it's a very narrow road. But when you say that to people, what I found interesting was when you say to people, I gave up sugar. It's almost like, to them, that's like climbing Kilimanjaro, you know what I mean? Like, I look at people and they go, you gave up sugar? I go, yeah, I have no candy, no desserts, certain fruits I can't eat, no pasta, but no dessert ever. And you see the look in, like, adult people's eyes. They literally look at me and they go, oh, I could never do that. No, I could never do that.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
Well, I'm like you. They say, oh, you got to watch your blood sugar because you're getting into that range where it might be pre-diabetic or is pre-diabetic, and to cut back on the sugar and cut back on the sugar. And by God, I try. But the problem is...
But you've never been heavy a day in your life, have you?
Oh, I'm heavier than I ought to be. When I was in college, I weighed 150 pounds. That's what I'd like to be now, 150. Yeah. But now, do you think you could live this way the rest of your life?
You were 150 when you were in college?
Yeah. Sophomore year, 150.
Were you a wrestler? Was it like a wrestling thing?
I had a high metabolic rate and stuff spinning around like. But now, are you prepared to eat this way the rest of your life?
Well, God, I hope so. I don't want to die. Yeah.
Well, no, but
I'd die.
Really? They said you would die?
Well, they said I'd get really sick. I'd have diabetes or something. Yeah, I can't have any sugar.
Wow.
Now, in my family,
sugar.
Well, in my family, it's tough because my mother is a baker, and my mother is one of those people who believes she equates love with how much she bakes and how much of it you eat.
Right.
So you go to her house.
That's right.
My mother's like, she takes a dish that she makes at the holidays, and she calls it love pie.
Love pie.
And it's really just like crushed walnuts, a layer of chocolate pudding, a layer of whipped cream, crushed walnuts, a layer of chocolate pudding, in a big bowl. Yeah. Everybody just shoves their spoon in and eats this blob all day long, you know what I mean? And I go home, and my mother's like, I'm trying to lose weight, and my mother's like, I made love pie,
Yeah. Yeah, right. But see, that brings up an interesting point. If we're not supposed to eat sugar, and I understand metabolically and biologically and anthropologically what you're talking about. But why is there sugar if we're not supposed to eat it?
This is not the place to discuss that, Dave.
Really?
Yeah. It's not McNeil Lehrer.
Well, but I mean, we could talk about it a little bit.
Well, I think that for me,
like sugar cane, they make sugar from cane.
Right. Are you implying that I want to put the sugar cane growers out of business? I don't want to do that. I want all of you to eat all the sugar you want.
Yeah.
You all have all the sugar you want.
You know what? I went to a Christmas party. Bill Murray was nice enough to invite me and my wife to his Christmas party. And you know what the hit of the big party was? He was walking around. He had Mexican Coke.
No wonder you're a metabolic mess. You're a disaster.
No, Coca-Cola.
That's not made from sugar cane, Dave. That's made from another South American plant.
No. Mexican Coca-Cola.
Yes,
Mexican Coca-Cola.
You should have said that.
I'm sorry. And he said, try this, and so we all tried it and said, oh, it's delicious. And he said, it's because they're not using high fructose syrup or you know, they're using actual sugar from
Down in
sugar
Mexico, they get a finer grade of Coca-Cola than we get here.
That's exactly right.
Interesting. Well, reason enough to head down there.
And well, anyway, you look fantastic and good for you. And I'm going to try, but sometimes a candy bar really is all you want.
There was a candy that my dad used to bring home. And I don't know if you remember this. Remember that company, Callard and Bowser? That was a British company.
Oh yeah.
How many people
yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
Thank you over there. Thank you. And someone's nodding over there. And they had that individually wrapped butterscotch. And they made licorice. And this company went out of business. And they don't make it anymore. Now that was worth dying for.
Right.
A piece of Callard and Bowser's butterscotch.
When was the last time you had like a piece of pie or a soft drink or any sugar at all? Was it that date, May 10th? Was that
again,
it?
there's still, I haven't had dessert. I mean, I've eaten, like, I'm not supposed to eat grapes, but every now and then, if there's nothing else, you
I
pop
love
a grape
grapes.
in your mouth.
You know, I eat a lot of carrots. You can't eat carrots.
Right. Well, I should eat not that many carrots. Yeah, cucumbers,
Eat
celery.
cucumbers, yeah.
This just gets more depressing the more we talk about it.
I know.
What I can eat.
I know.
What I can. I'm dairy free. I don't eat dairy.
You can't eat dairy.
I don't eat dairy.
So what do you eat? Stuff you find in your pocket? What? Really?
My favorite dish is called spicy dust. Yeah, it's fantastic. Don't knock until you've tried it.
Now listen, two things I want to cover here, Alec. First of all, one of my favorite appearances was you on the Turner Movie Classics, The Essentials,
right.
with Bob Osborne.
Robert Osborne.
I understand now you're stepping away from that.
Well, I did the show with him this season for one year, and then at the end of it, Bob kind of turned to them and said, let's have Alec back next year.
Right.
And they all looked at each other. They were like, well, okay, we've never had anybody repeat. Then the end of the second year, Bob said, I don't see any reason why we don't have Alec back again next year.
I agreed.
And I came. Then when I showed up for that third year, they said, if Bob asks you to come back, you say no. Do you understand?
Oh, I see. But I thought it was a good fit because here you had Robert Osborne, who's a film historian.
Yeah.
So he knows all the nuts and bolts and who hired for the makeup and who did that and who drove. And but you knew the art of filmmaking, and now they're replacing you with Drew Barrymore.
Well, she's going to do this season, and she's a big film nut too. Drew is a great.
Well, comes from a great film acting family.
But I love doing that. I loved working with.
Well, I'm going to miss you doing that now. But in addition to, wait a minute, we have to do a thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go out and get me a.
Is it for Mexican Coke?
But no. And now, this works for Mexican Coke. We'll be right back.
Anytime at all.